Is it just me, or does Frankenstein's whole personality change after he unleashes his power? What is up, y'all? It's your man, That Dude, bringing you guys another video. I'm giving out subscriptions down below, so go hit that button. I'd appreciate it. I said in my video on Noblesse episode 5 that one of the fights I was most looking forward to was Takeo versus Frankenstein, because besides the Awakening OVA, and I still contend that Crunchyroll did an absolutely horrible job of advertising that if you watch Noblesse, before watching it, you should go back and watch the OVA, but whatever, that's old news at this point. If you're ignoring the Awakening OVA, we haven't yet seen Frankenstein unleash his powers, but we did get to see him unleash his powers finally in episode 6, and it did not disappoint at all. When he unleashes his powers, he becomes pretty much a whole different person. He goes from being the mild-mannered caretaker guy to being someone who appears to really enjoy fighting. Like, Frankenstein could have taken out Takeo as soon as he unleashed his powers, but he chose not to. He chose to toy with Takeo for a while and really wanted to see what Takeo was capable of before ending the fight. And even then, even after he defeats Takeo, if it weren't for Sarah showing up at the last second, he would have killed Takeo without hesitation. He was just going to take him out. That just shows that Frankenstein isn't someone who's shy of combat or shy about killing people. We saw it in the Awakening OVA when he killed one of the Union's agents. So he's not someone who's meek when it comes to battle. He might be mild-mannered in his everyday life when it comes to interacting with everyone else. But when it comes to actually fighting, Frankenstein is more than capable and more than willing to do what he needs to do to win and kill if he needs to kill people. Like I said, if it wasn't for Sarah showing up last second, he would have killed Takeo. And he only took mercy on Takeo once he realized that Takeo wasn't necessarily a evil person. I haven't watched the Beginning of Destruction OVA yet, but I do hope at some point we do get like more of a backstory on Frankenstein and how he became so powerful and how he became the person he is now, because I would assume or expect that if we get a backstory in him, the Frankenstein we might see in the past might be someone who's a lot more or a lot less mild-mannered than the one we get currently. I just can't believe that he has always been the way he is now, with the way we saw his personality really come out in the heat of battle. I would assume that would be more indicative of how he was before, and over time and like interacting with humans and everything more, maybe being away from battle as much, he just became more mild-mannered over time. I just don't think he was that way from the beginning. Another thing I said in my video in episode 5 is that I think Sarah might be stronger than Regis. And after episode 6, I gotta say, yeah, you don't see Regis walking around with a big ass scythe, but you know who you do see with one? Sarah. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Sarah. If I gotta put money on somebody between the two who's stronger between Sarah and Regis, I'm going with the one who has the scythe that's known as the Grim Reaper scythe. That would be Sarah. So right now my money is on her for being the stronger of the two. And not to toot my own horn, but I totally called Teo joining the group. Back when we saw how close him and Manabu were, I definitely thought, okay, at some point in time, Teo is going to join the group and he's going to use his hacker abilities for the benefit of, you know, Raizel and M21 and everyone else in the group. And between him and Takeo, I think Teo is the more useful one of the two, I guess, even though he's not as strong as Takeo. Like, a hacker is always useful. Like, Takeo isn't as strong as Raizel, isn't as strong as Frankenstein, but neither Frankenstein or Raizel can hack into computers and hack into servers and all that kind of stuff. So of the two, Teo is obviously the more useful one. Is there a reason that Raizel is unable to fully handle using his abilities right now? We saw that he was coughing up blood and Frankenstein was obviously worried. So we know that him using his abilities has an adverse effect on his body. But what is the reason behind that? Is it because he's only recently awakened and his body's just still not to full strength and it's just a matter of time before he can fully use his abilities? Or is there another reason? Again, I haven't watched the Beginning of Destruction OVA yet, so maybe this is something that's covered in that OVA as to why he's unable to handle using his full abilities. But if that continues, that does not bode well for the group, because like, yeah, okay, now they have Takeo, Tao, and we obviously have Frankenstein, and M21 gets a power boost. But Raizel is still their trump card. He's still the strongest member of the group. Without Raizel, are you going to be able to fully take on the Union? Because I highly doubt that the strongest person the Union has to throw at them was Kronz. They're going to have people who are even more powerful than Kronz. And if Raizel has such a hard time using his abilities now, what is he going to be able to do in the future? So I'm assuming, well, I shouldn't say assuming, I'm hoping that it's just because he's only recently awakened, and as he gets more time out of his coffin, his body strengthens and he just becomes more stronger overall. It's just a matter of time. My boy M21 is a werewolf now. We saw him, like, Raizel gave him a glimpse of his true abilities, and apparently that true ability is the ability to turn into a werewolf. Which, in a show where you have quasi-vampires, it's not surprising that at some point in time we would get a quasi-werewolf. Hopefully now that he has his power up, my favorite character will stop getting his ass kicked so much, and I might be able to see him win at least one fight. Because as I've said time and time again, M21 stays getting his ass kicked, but is somehow still my favorite character. But I would at some point just like to see him win a fight. Eventually, I would like to see an episode where I can cheer for M21, and at the end of the episode, he is standing tall and not always bloodied up for getting his ass kicked. I would like to see him beat someone, because right now we just haven't seen that. Alright guys, that's all I have for you on this one. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Also hit me up in the comments. I respond to almost everything. If you didn't like the video, again, hit me up in the comments so we can talk about it. If you are so inclined to subscribe, I would appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.